Street cred sports. Street cred sports. I'm crossing over. I'm Euro stepping.
Hello, this is Keenan of Street Cred Sports Training, and welcome to another episode of Time to Ball. This is episode 123. No, I'm not counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's episode 123, and we had to reach all the way out to Arizona and pluck him from the Final Four to get him to come over here and talk to us. We want to introduce my man I've been knowing for so long, Tohono Otham. I probably still mess it up, so I'll let him, say the name of the team. He's the head coach there, and now he's been the athletic director for some time. Coach Stu, my man, what's up?
Good morning. Good to be back on. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I know. See, he was on when we was back at audio, so we had to pull out the archives of the audio tape. We had like a 5-part series where we were going through everything.
Okay.
How's everybody doing?
Kitchen table.
Yeah, for real.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Really? Lee, look, man, I've been doing this a little bit longer, man. Lee come on and our ratings and stuff jump up and popularity grows, and he acting like I wasn't doing this before.
Man, your popularity is gone because you're making fun of me.
Hey, real quick before we get started. Guess who asked to put butter on the toast before I toasted it this morning?
April.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Stu. We had a You Done Lost Your Damn Mind segment, and we were talking about do you put butter on the toast before or after you put the toast in the toaster?
Mm-hmm.
And April was saying, well, you never put butter on the toast before because you can actually mess it up. And I was like, no, I always put it on before. So then we just got to talking and arguing, and I think we lost Stu.
I think we lost him.
Yeah, we'll wait for him. But
okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there he goes. He back at it.
Yeah, sorry.
No. So I was just telling him about the toast thing. We had a You Done Lost Your Mind segment, and the subject was, do you put butter on your toast before you toast it or after? Oh, well, hold on. Before I even get into it. After.
Oh, no,
I'm sorry, Stu. I'm sorry you break it up, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you put butter on your toast before you toast it?
Absolutely.
So
yes, sir.
So it was a thing because me and April she was like, well, you never put it on before because if you put it in the toaster thing, it could drip down and cause a fire. And I was like, well, I ain't never had no fire. I just know it's better, right? So
absolutely,
it's been a thing. LO says he puts it on afterwards, but he puts it on afterwards because he was using the toaster that you slide it in.
Yeah.
So it's been a thing where everybody, says that they put it on. Some people put it on before, or some people put it after.
If it's a toaster oven, then I I got you.
Okay.
I've got a 4-slot toaster. I'm not putting butter down in there.
So this morning, when she was cooking, she was like, well, why don't you go ahead and make the toast? I was like, all right. She was like, you can put the butter on before because it was in the toaster. And I was like, yeah, I need to get that on video and clip that and put it on here for the world to know that this is my toast.
She wasn't a fan of
it. She loved it though. I left hers in the back where it's a little bit toastier. But yeah, she liked the way I did it. So without further ado, before how's everybody doing? How you doing, Stu?
I'm good. A little bit busy, but it's been good to have this weekend off and watch a lot of basketball. Kind of sad I'm not at the Final Four this year, because I always said that the best thing that NCAA could do was have all 3 divisions have their Final Four, in the same place on the same weekend and
Right.
stack. You got teams come in on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You could have the Division 3, Division 2, Division 3 on Thursday, the championship game on Friday, the championship game on Sunday, or whatever version. And so now they're doing it now, and I'm now retired and not coaching anymore, and that's how they do it. So I'll get there.
I didn't even know that they did that.
I had no idea.
They put it all together.
I think it's the second year that they're doing it on the men's side.
Okay.
The women are still doing it. However, the women are doing it. So,
Right.
Yeah. So it's a fun weekend in Indianapolis. I'm sure a lot of basketball being played.
Man, that'll help that portal, because I know some kids can be snatched from 3 to 2.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
And 2 to 1 for sure, and 3 to 1 at times.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's smart.
What you been up to, Mr. Lee?
Man, look, I just been trying to get ready for this season. Get ready for club season. Just got back from Canada, so short trip, and then just kind of reboot.
Yeah.
Renew my mindset, and make sure these kids don't drive me crazy, man. But no, I'm just really getting ready for that. Our first event is in Houston, April 17th. So just trying to prepare for that. We got to practice in Hobbs next week, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I'm actually extra glad that they let your ass back over the border coming from Canada.
Oh man, Canada's beautiful, man. They treat me well. I got a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie, because as I was coming into customs, they was like, "Yeah, come on." I'm like, "Oh, this is set up."
Yeah,
they didn't ask no questions, nothing. So but it was all good, man.
Coming back was good. Okay,
oh,
all
yeah,
right. Well, I was gonna have to see if I need to go do some extra trainings, scratch up some money to come and get you some born identity passports.
Nah. No, we good, man. I'm good.
All right, so without further ado, we've been yakking. We could actually sit up here and talk for an hour or 2 hours without hitting any subjects, but we're gonna go ahead and get into some things that interest us. So we had some other topics on the docket that we're gonna, lead with, but man, we got to lead with this Uconn versus South Carolina issue. So, let me start out by saying that Uconn was on, I think it was 33-0 or 34-0. They were riding a 54-game winning streak. They were playing South Carolina, who they destroyed in the national championship last year. So they had to play them in the Final Four. And it was a really good game, but it just seemed like South Carolina had control of that game, and they were going to win. So the game went off without a hitch, but then at the end of the game we had Gino Auriemma, coach from Uconn, walking over to what should be the regular shake hands with Don Staley, the coach of South Carolina. And it was some furniture moving on that in that issue. It had gotten almost some fisticuffs, and Gino Auriemma turned around and said that Don curses at the referees, and that Don didn't meet him at half court and talk, and that they ripped his player's jersey off. And they actually went and got the receipts to show that all of that stuff he said was untrue. And what was very uncharacteristic was he actually left the court and he didn't congratulate anybody. I could see if he didn't, want to mess with Don, but not to go out and say anything to anybody else was just kind of, thing. And my thing is just say you don't, excuse my language, mama. Just say you don't fuck with Don, man. That's all you got to say, because that's how it's been. This rivalry's gotten really heated up. What you think, Stu?
I think it's sour grapes. I've seen games where Gino's ripping the refs, and just watching from afar and being in the gym and seeing Division I coaches, the way they talk to officials, I'm surprised there aren't more T's thrown.
Right.
So for him to gripe and complain about how Don talks to officials, I think that's just sour grapes, because His counterpart on the men's side does the exact same thing. That's Danny Hurley. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get it. People are saying, oh, he was doing that to distract from, take the pressure off his players because they didn't play very well. Whatever it is, it's unprofessional. You sometimes you get beat. That's the nature of playing at that level. No matter how good you are, everybody gets beat. And if that's the way he handles it, that's just for someone who's been in his business for so long, that's a bad way for him to go about doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Lee.
Well, for me, I think he really exposed himself in the sense of he's always kind of been the dominant personality. People just come to Uconn because it's Uconn. Well, that's not a thing anymore. Refs just give him calls because he's Gino, and he's been seeing Don literally run him down as it pertains to being the dominant personality in women's basketball. Same kind of issue he had with Pat Summitt, but this is a little different. Dawn is a gritty coach. I mean, she has a different mindset, her background, and so on and so forth. But I just think he's going to have some issues, especially with South Carolina going to Nike next year. I think it's going to be some rumblings there too. But the main thing is that Gino had no answers to what Don's team was doing. They made a 10-1 run, maybe even a 16-1 run. No timeouts, no adjustments. He's always been the master of that. And he just his team is predicated off coming off screens, catching and shooting, and he just didn't have an answer. Lastly, I think the thing with him is he's not challenged in that conference. In the SEC, you have a plethora of teams who can get to the ship. Gino's in the Big East, winning by 30. And so he's used to just having his hands crossed and arms crossed and coasting. And at this level, when you get in the Final Four, you know what it is, especially when you're going up against Don. So he was in his feelings for sure.
Yeah, I have a question for y'all. I'm gonna have two questions. One just popped up, but my first question is: do you think there's some sort of resentment from Gino with the fact that he was dominant for so long? The women's basketball wasn't as big. Now, within the last 3 years, women's basketball has really come up the stage, and Don has been kind of the face coaching wise. And it's almost, I kind of wonder if he kind of feels like, man, you know what, I was doing this longer than she was, right? That's the first question. The second question is going back into what you said about the 10-1 run or 16-1 run. My question to both of y'all is, when a team, at what point do you call a timeout? Is it a 6-0 run, a 8-0 run? When do you call a timeout to kind of stop or recalibrate?
Go ahead, Coach.
Let's go. The first question. I think you made a valid point. I think Gino's seen a landscape because South Carolina has been dominant the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
You've also got that crazy lady at LSU, Mulkey, who, she's taken a chunk out of some of his legacy. You've got UCLA, and you've got all these teams out west that are starting to, Washington was good for a while, UCLA, USC. I think he's at that point where he's at the tail end of his career, and it's not as easy for him as it was, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. He's being challenged, and sometimes people don't handle it that well. That's an ego thing. Like you've been the big dog for so long. Once Pat Summitt left and retired, he's been the guy, and he's not that. That's not him anymore. So I think there's some of that he's still trying to grasp, hold on to, and it bubbled out the other night when they got their ass kicked. So
I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. Coach said ass. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. You say this
Yeah.
ain't PG over here. This is PG-13 rated R.
Yeah.
All right, Lee.
Go ahead, Coach. You had one
No,
more.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I
I'm
figured
sorry.
we'll do
Yeah.
this first question and then come back to the
Yeah,
second
okay,
question.
then
Oh,
come back.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
perfect.
First question is for sure like the thing is Gino for decades has been allowed to be arrogant,
Mhm.
standoffish, in some cases very rude, and still get major love. Dawn has come to this game trying to help other coaches get jobs, sending people that she knew, other coaches, when they got their head jobs, she would cut a piece of her net, mail it to them. There's been waitresses that have gotten $900 tips from Dawn just because she heard they were struggling and things of that nature. So, Dawn's on TV. She's got commercials. She's everywhere.
Mhm.
Um, the podcast era right now, is big, and so Don has been willing to be on podcasts and so on and so forth. Not that Gino hasn't, but you just don't see it as much, and
Right.
and so I think that's another issue as well. And so um, people people don't see, and I'm not saying he doesn't love on his players, but he has a different way of doing it. And I think that time has now passed,
Mhm.
with the mental health piece, excuse me, and things of that nature. I just think, Don has got every base covered. Like 2 years ago, Don was recruiting a kid and there was a certain major that they didn't have. Well, Dawn brought her parents in and brought her in, and she made or requested or advised the administration to get this particular degree plan. Why don't we have it? If we're such a great institution, why is this degree plan not in? So they met with their parents, explained them how they're going to do it. Like, that's just different. That's huge. That's
Right.
big. Of course she wanted to recruit, but she didn't have to.
Right. Right. So since you just was finished was talking, let me start with you on the second question.
As far as
Lee.
the timeouts,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, go ahead,
When
Coach.
do
You got
you
it.
no,
Oh, you
I'm
talking about
saying I
me?
want you, I want you to
Me?
go
Okay.
ahead.
Oh man, I'm gonna be really honest with you. When I see stuff like that, I start panicking. I call it immediately. Like to me, 6-0 run, and then it's really a feel. You gotta look at your kids. You know if your kids are something's not working. You know if what you're doing has been really heavily scouted. And so I've
Mhm.
always tried to have that. My mom taught me early on, like, have a, not just in basketball, but in life, you got to have a plan A, B, C, D. She said, son, all the way to Z. And so
Mhm.
when it's a feel, but for me, I probably do it too early. But 6-0 run, I'm making a change, especially in a game of that magnitude.
Right.
I'm not gonna wait till they tie the score. I'm not gonna wait till they go up one. I've seen coaches wait till they score and then call timeout. Well, it's a 16-1 run. It's game over, at some point. So for me, between 6 to 8, depending on if we're still leading, I don't want to call a timeout. I hate calling a timeout when we're down now. Um, but you can always tell kids, hey, we still got control of this game. We're up 4. Let's just regroup. Let's go ahead and run this now. Let's counter with this. There's switch on screens. Let's do some different things. So that's just my take on it.
Okay. No?
You and I have had this discussion a bunch, and for me, it's feel. There's a lot of factors that go into what kind of team do I have.
Mm,
It depends on that situation. If I've got a team that's that I'm pretty confident in, and we've got some leadership on the floor,
mm,
I might go a little bit longer. If it's if it's a team that's a little bit less experienced, they haven't been in the situation a whole lot, I might call it sooner. You definitely have to have a feel for your team and the moment.
Mhm.
Because I've been that way. Hey, they've gone on a 9-0 run. but it's not like we haven't gotten shots. We've gotten really good shots. Maybe one just
Right.
slipped out. You
True.
know,
Very
they
true.
had a shot that we defended really well, and they hit a tough shot at as the shot clock expired. You know, it just depends on the feel. But you know, when you're in that situation, I can't. I mean, I don't want to second guess them, but it just depends on your team.
Yeah.
And I was always confident with if I had a really good point guard, I was more confident to let him play it out. And if I didn't, hey, we're calling that timeout. Hey, this is what we're gonna do.
Okay.
This is how we're gonna adjust. We're gonna come out. We're gonna switch this up, or you know, it's hard to say. It's just situation. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So that's great insight because you know everybody's different with how they do it. You know, situation plays with both of you saying things that you know you don't normally think about. You just think they scored 8 points, so we have to call a timeout. But then looking at some of those other you know variables that happen. Okay, so let's go into the next topic. Duke loses to Uconn in crazy fashion. Duke was up 19. Most of the game, Uconn hunted them down. During the last 2 or 3 minutes, you could see, well, for me, it looked as if the Duke players weren't as confident with what they were doing. So last part of the game, the last play, they inbound the ball, goes to the younger the Boozer. I think it was Camden. I'm not sure. The Boozer brothers, but the point guard catches it. He turns faces, makes an errant pass that gets stolen. UConn wins. Right now, the question I want to have is, I was listening to conversations about how freshmen, especially freshmen who are really, really successful throughout their high school and AAU career, they're not really tested. They get into college, and then when they get into some of these pressure situations like that was, they sometimes, a lot of them have issues. And then you look at Illinois, who's a team of comprised heavily of international players that seem to be more experienced. Now, it didn't look like that against UConn when they played UConn.
Yeah.
But at the time, they're more experienced. And I had a podcast where people were saying the new order of players of coaches recruiting is portal first, international players second, JUCO third, prep school fourth, and high school fifth. So my question to you guys is, do you feel like that Duke situation will make coaches less likely to recruit talented high school players and go strictly through portal and international?
Go ahead, Coach.
Okay. For me, I think you have to have a balance. I think you have to have a nice mix. If you have a kid that is left over that you know is probably going to stay for 2 or 3, you can really build the culture a lot faster with them bringing in different players. If I've got 10 new players and we've got to learn this culture, it's going to take a lot of time. And speaking of Illinois, you know, they have pros. They have guys that's 23-year-old freshmen that have been playing in pro leagues. The Duke situation for me is a teaching moment, because the first thing I tell all mine, even if you catch it and they're not pressing on the perimeter, is catch and look. If you watch, he caught it, he bounced it and tried to throw it over the top. Had he just caught it, looked, maybe either throw it up in the air or bounce around and then throw it, because there's 2 guys behind her that were wide open. So for me, it was a teaching moment for our kids. Like, look, you have to really catch and look. And I think The only person I saw that was when that steal happened, that was semi-common, knew what to do, was Cam Boozer. Like
Mhm.
he closed out. That's why the guy passed it. Sar, believe it was Sar, so somebody else who was on the shooter, he just stood here with his
Yeah,
hands
hands
down.
down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, the teaching moment is always catch and look. So I think more so this is going to be a teaching moment for young players. I'm still going to
Yes.
recruit my top 10, top 50 kids and bring in some folks around him that can teach him some things. But I think it's just going to be, I think it's really going to be, it's going to force coaches or encourage coaches to really coach these high level kids a lot more because they have gotten away with things because they've just been uber talented. And so
Mhm.
in that situation, I think it's just going to really just remind them to remind themselves, hey, this is what we're doing. Just my
Right.
thoughts on it.
I'm the same. I don't think it's going to make coaches less likely to recruit freshmen. I mean, you're talking about top 100 kids, top 50 kids. They're still going to recruit those kids.
Mhm.
The fact of the matter is, going back to it comes down to coaching. And Coach said it
Right.
right. It comes back down to the first. And we had that conversation a few days ago. And I went back and I watched it again, and even Big Boozer, he caught it first. And the first thing he did is he caught it and he had his back to the floor, he faced the baseline, caught it and took a dribble back to the baseline,
Yeah.
which luckily he had the inbounder to get rid of it. But he
Mhm.
almost put himself in a situation where he
Right.
put himself in a worse situation than he was because he didn't catch and square.
Right.
But it goes back to breaking down, teaching, and coaching kids. You can work on that moment in practice every day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
moment of the game, kid gets comfortable. It's a mistake the kid made. Will he make that mistake again at some point in his life? Oh yeah. Is he going to make that mistake again in a game? He can't. Let's say they play that next game, and he gets trapped again, and he'll handle it better. But that's basketball. Sometimes you make
Right.
mistakes that even though you prepare for them, you still make mistakes. So
Right. Right. And I was actually using it because I've always when I'm training kids and I'm working on the press, and I often tell them as soon as you catch the ball, when you turn and face, I said fake like you're gonna up fake like you're gonna make a pass. I said, and what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna jump. I said, and
Mhm.
once they jump, now you can attack them and dribble it, or you can make
Absolutely.
that bounce pass. But fake them up because they're always anticipating, which instinctively a lot of players just turn and try to throw it up. So had he like not made, had he faked it and bounce pass, or just dribbled it out,
Mhm.
it's a different thing. But I'm on board with you guys. It was just the feel that I got from hearing different respected people talk about that situation. It just kind of made me wonder, like, is that something that's changing? Because I remember I just got uh a reel, and I might have sent it to both of you, but it was showing Illinois and how Illinois is comprised of a lot of international players, and the thing was, is this the new trend where colleges are going to start to get these other players on? Now, the thing about what you said, Lee, about the being pros, that is an actual subject that we can tackle, because that needs this whole other thing with the loophole and stuff. So um that's great information. And you can teach it, and that is one thing. Coaches get blamed for that kind of stuff, but it's not like coaches aren't preparing them. It's just sometimes when the pressure hits, some players, you know, they don't respond the way they should. Now, I gotta pose this question. I gotta pose this thing to you guys, because it's always drove me crazy how, and you guys don't have to use, you guys don't get challenges, right, in games, but in the NBA level and now in the college level, you know, teams get challenges to dispute something. And I know that there are a lot of calls that are like, oh, it happened so quick. you know, you don't, the referee makes a call and he has to stand by it. But there are some calls that you could tell right as they were happening, and the ref made a terrible call. And my biggest gripe about it is that I'm upset with the fact that coaches have to use challenges for situations that the ref should have got right the first time. How do y'all feel about that?
For me, refs are more sensitive than Kanye West. Number one, that's the first thing. That's the first thing.
Not all refs.
Man, look. So I mean, I haven't met one yet. I met one.
Well,
But
you're on the line with one. Still refs.
well, still, I've never seen you ref, Stu, so I can't say anything for you. But the problem is they're a team until I'm wrong. So if I'm a ref and I make a bad call, it should be okay for someone to come on and say, "Hey, coach, it was," or hey, Bob, hey, Mike, sorry, coach, it was out on so and so. Like, just if you're a team, you should be a team in every situation, just like a hockey team, a basketball team. Hey, we're a team when we're down, we're a team when we're up, and so there's not enough of that. And I say, hey man, go talk to him. Oh, I can't show my partner up. That's his call. I said, well, aren't y'all a team? Yeah, we are a team. Excuse me, but I got to let him handle that. So that will stop a lot of it, But if maybe refs are so sensitive that if you do that to me, then I'm gonna find a spot in the game where I'm gonna do it to you. So they've got to do a better job of being less sensitive and really being a team, and put that out there. Hey, coach, we're a team. If we see something, we're going to reconvene and go on and so forth. I think the game would appreciate that, from the NBA to college. I really do.
Yeah. Now, we're not going to talk NBA because I think that's a whole different subject in terms of officiating.
Yeah.
Oh, for
How
sure.
that game gets called, I can't. It's hard to watch. But you're on something, Coach, when you talk about ego. It's an ego thing, and there are a lot of officials who like, hey, this is my call. Whether I've got it right, I made that call. And a lot of times it's, hey, I miss it, and it's not easy to officiate a game. There's a lot of big bodies moving really fast. You got to make a decision on the spot. Like, whistle's got to blow, and you got to have a decision made the second the whistle stops. So sometimes split second thing. If guys are going to say, "Hey, I need help. Did you see it?" Or, "Hey, we'll get together really quick, talk about it. Hey, did anybody get a better look? We didn't. Okay, then we're gonna stay with what I call. If somebody did, hey, you know what? Say, hey, we missed it. We're gonna go the other way. Ball was off. My partner had a look. Bang, and we go. And it saves the 5 minute. Hey, we've got to go to the replay monitor and look at 5 different angles. And you're granting teams extra timeouts. So that's another. It's an ego thing, and how you cure that, I don't know if you can.
What I guess maybe I should have been clearer. 99% of, or at least 90 to 95% with referees, I agree wholeheartedly, because it's so quick, it's so fast. You might not have had the quiet angle, and you make a call. I'm saying that I've seen plays where the referee's standing right there, and like even on the replay, they show the replay. He's not looking elsewhere. He's looking, and a player actually fumbles the ball and loses it, and the defender didn't even reach in. But then the referee will award it to the offense to keep the ball, and then when they show replay, it's clear, like it's clear and concise. So then the coach has to use a challenge, and it's like, and I even heard announcers say, I don't even know why it's taking so long. This should be this is their ball, right? And that's the kind of stuff I'm saying. But to both of you guys' point, the ego thing, It should be more of a team effort. I've talked to other referees. I know I've talked with Stu about some refereeing. I have talked to other referees about how sometimes they'll be refereeing with other referees, and that referee will be more, demonstrative and authoritative
Yep.
about, even when they're wrong. And I think it could go a long way for a referee to say, you know what, hey, no, that was a bad call, because
sure.
you're human.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I made a bad call, just like you shot an air ball two plays ago.
Yeah.
Like you made a boneheaded play on the down screen. You knew it was going to be a down screen, and you didn't tell your player to do it. So everybody's at fault for making issues, but I think the ego stuff is a big thing.
Coming back to it, when I was coaching, as long as, and one of the big things that I had when I was coaching that is some districts teach their officials not to talk to coaches, which one is a huge mistake, because right. Hey, I mean, just like you say, hey, my bad, coach. I missed that one. If you come up and say that to me in the heat of the game, hey, we're talking. Hey, coach, my bad, I missed it. I get it. Hey, get the next one. But if you miss it and then you're arrogant and you refuse to talk to me and tell me and explain why you feel this way, and this keeps building. Now there's unnecessary tension, and so now I'm going to be on you, and it's going to lead to something happening where either I get teed, or they take it on my players, and now things are being called unnecessarily, and it would all been solved just by coming in and talking. Hey, I say, hey, coach, I know you disagree, but this is what I saw. Cool, we can have a dialogue about that. Hey, I think you missed that one. He's like, well, I think I got it right, and we talk about it. Great, I'm good. But when you don't, and you start to get that ego, you start to have that power trip, that's where you run into problems. And now we've got this situation where now we've got to review it and do this and do all that. And it's just it's a game. It's human error. Everybody makes mistakes. If you own up to them, yeah, I get it. It's not an easy thing to call a basketball game.
No.
But I do think there needs to be a lot more accountability on officials. I think they need to be graded honestly. Like an official needs to know that you're not very good. You're just not, man. You're very emotional. You got your emotional officials. You got your officials looking in the stands, trying to figure out how to kick somebody out of a game, making it about them. And so, I just think like they got to have a rater there every other game and watching this, because I think coaches are held accountable. If we get kicked out of a game, like, we got to go see admin. We got to go, there's certain things we got to do. We got to write a letter. Sometimes we get suspended. A ref, like, there's no recourse. Like, they just do whatever they want to do, and it's got to stop. And I just think at all levels, for sure. I know in NBA they have their system, but I guess it depends on the betting numbers there, how that goes. That's how I see it.
Now, on college, are referees graded in college?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so there is a system.
There is a rating system.
Okay, right. Yeah. Okay,
and people just talking about Uconn, the guy, and he called a lot, and I seen him call a bunch of. He called a bunch of high level games. He got taken off of the game, or he got removed from the Final Four list because of an incident he had with Hurley. I guess they had or something. So they do get graded, and you do get either relegated or promoted or demoted based on how they grade you.
Yeah, it should happen with high school. I know it's harder, but I think there needs to be some kind of system in play to where, because, like, if a person thinks he's perfect, but he's not perfect. Okay, like there's this old Andy Griffin show where Don Knotts, his character, is sitting in the he's in the choir, and they're singing a song. And Don Knotts' character is the one that's terrible singing. So then he goes to, I think Andy was the director, and he goes to Andy and he says, yeah, I hear, he whispers to us, I hear it too. I'm gonna go around and see which one of these people don't know how to sing, right? So there's no self-awareness for them. And I think if there was more self-awareness for referees, they would have the opportunity to, because you want them to get better. If they want to get better, if they're just out there to collect the check, you need to get rid of them because it messes up the whole product, you know. So all right, so let's move right along. We're gonna get into our basketball ideology. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is it's going back to what we discussed earlier with the situation with Duke, right? So I've actually used it in training, the Duke collapse, and I think, me personally, because as a trainer dealing, I don't really think I have, and I could be wrong, but from the kids' information when I'm talking to them about different things, when they're practicing, and this is on, you know, a lot of different levels, high school, city league, obviously younger ones, they're not going to do it, but on the more, you know, older, sophisticated, there's not a lot of time score situation teaching with kids. So I use the Duke collapse to try to use it in a way to where I can teach kids time score situation. You know, right now you're up two. They got the ball. How are you going to defend this? You know, they need a three. It's under 5 seconds. What are we doing? And try to put kids in situations where they have to really be stressed in it, right? Because in games, you can prepare as much as you want, but if you're not comfortable with it, you're going to be stressed in there. You might miss one little slip, and you've seen where some people get off open shots, and you're like, man, how did that happen? What do you guys think?
For me, like I'm really big on details. Especially you know, when I coached high school, like we had I think our Wednesdays were, hey, situational basketball. We're up 10, 5 minutes left. What are we doing? Down 4, you know, a minute left, up 4, 30 seconds left. Like, you know, what are we doing? And I think the method that I use really helped my program because it was more of a question and answer thing. And they were giving me the answers, and then I would kind of redirect. And so when you, and you know, it goes back to player-led team is going to be better than a coach-led team. So, you know, then you have players having dialogue. Well, coach, you know, I thought this, I thought that, because, you know, if I dribble four times, that's four seconds. If we got 4 passes, 4 seconds. So they begin to start opening up their imagination and just finding solutions. Because obviously there's many ways for the solutions. But I think, Kay, you hit it on the head. It's not taught enough, especially in club basketball. You know, we only have so much time. You know, you look at my situation, I've got kids 6, 7.5 hours away. So we meet, you know, once a month or twice a month. And, you know, there's not much time, but it still has to be done. So, I mean, the more we teach, the better play we're going to get. And I think it starts with the grassroots from 5th grade. The thing that you're doing, Kay, with that 5th grade group is great. I mean, those guys are learning, they're getting better. You know, the problem is, you know, I like it. I tell my kids, because, and I'll say this, and I'll cut it short here. They learn so much basketball, they start questioning you. I'm like, oh, you're smarter than me now. So it's a running joke, but it's also a blessing because now they're coming up with solutions, if that makes sense.
Right. Coach?
It comes down to practice and what things are you working on in practice. When I was in high school, especially in high school, at the high school level, we tried to make our practices, everything was a situation. Hey, we try to play at an advantage and a disadvantage. Hey, we do 3-on-2s, and we talk about, hey, this is how we're doing it. This is how we're defending if we're short of it. This is how we're defending if we're if we've got an extra. And then we would devote times. We would have situation games where we come up with a list of situations, and at the end of practice, hey, we're gonna go over these 4 situations. First one, hey, up 2 or down 2 with 40 seconds to play. Play it out. And we would keep stats and see who won a situation at the end of the week. You know, hey, blue team, you guys won this you won a situations game. But we would do it. We would do that at the college level, just once, just to kind of break up the monotony of practice, but 2, just to put yourself in a situation where you're working on all these different situations that come up. Hey, you know, you're at the end of the shot clock, you know, and you need to get a shot off. What's our situation? How, you know, what are we going to call a set? Are we going to call a play? So I think in practice, you need to build in time to make sure that you're working on all these different situations, and sit down with your assistant at the end of the year, or, you know, or even during the year. Hey, we just came across a situation. We saw this last night watching the game. We need to be prepared for this situation. And we had a sheet full of different situations that we would use. We'd take 5 off one practice, go to the next 5, and then we would adjust. And if there's something we didn't like, maybe we bring that situation back a couple of days later and work on that again. But it comes down to practice and what you're focusing on.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm gonna skip some of these other topics. I'm gonna keep it right here because it's had me to expand on a few things. So one of my biggest, well, you know, I'm not gonna even go there. I'm gonna ask you guys. When you have a game, you know, and for whatever happens, you know, if you have your guards struggle, let's say your guards weren't able to handle the press, right? Or they weren't able to have the handle the pick and roll where the defense was blitzing, or maybe they were on defense and they weren't, you know, shading the guard to go where they needed them to go. The next time you guys have practice, do you guys, you know, put stuff in place to address that and put those kids in those same situations? Or do you just kind of say, you know, that was maybe a one-off and you continue with your practices? I'll start with you, Lee.
I'm one of those, I'm going to put you in the fire type coaches, because a lot of kids are hesitant, whether it be fear, whatever that is. And a lot of the fear is I haven't practiced it. I don't know the solutions. I don't trust my skill set. And so, like, example, if a player panics when they get trapped, that's going to be one of the first things that we do. I mean, you're going to see this every day until it doesn't mean as much to you, until you're allowed to, you know, your emotional center never moves. And so, and I got to understand as a coach, those first 5 reps for this particular player is going to be bad. I got to understand that. We got to, and the thing that I would do with that particular player, because I had 2 last year, we would just slow it down. And so I would tell him, man, you can see things faster the sooner you get your eyes up on it, right? Because some players like to catch the ball and they're not looking at anything. They're just worried about a trap. So it's more so just seeing it before it happens and then being able to respond. And you could dribble too early. You could not dribble soon enough. It's just understand that and understand the proximity of where the defense is coming and where you need to go. And so for me, I put players in that situation every single day until, and, you know, maybe it's going to help everybody else because maybe there's somebody else that is scared of a trap that I don't know about. And so that's kind of how I do it.
Coach?
You absolutely have to address it. Like that very next day of practice, one of the first things we're working on is how we're handling this situation. Because, you know, people watch. And so if they watch film and say, hey, number 21 can't handle the pressure, so let's trap him. What you bet what's going to happen the next game? He's going to get trapped.
Absolutely.
I said after that. So you've got to address it right then and there. Otherwise, it's going to be a situation for you going forward where you're you're going to have a lot less success than you should.
Right.
Can I add something to that?
Mhm.
I think when players see it on film, they become more alert as far as, oh, coach, that looks crazy. Coach, that's bad. Okay, I got to fix that. So, I mean, you can tell a player 1,000 times, oh, coach, I'm not doing that. In their mind, they're saying they're not doing that until you see it on film.
Film
Right.
don't
And
lie.
once,
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
coach. So
Yeah.
once they see it on film, and then you can kind of go through it, and then they'll kind of be down on themselves. You say, no, look, man, look, all you got to do is, pass fake here, as you said earlier, okay? A pass fake, they jump in the air, go. So the first thing I might do is pass fake. If they don't respond to that, then I go to, plan B. But I think
Right.
them seeing it and going through it, seeing it one-on-one first, if possible, and then with the team, so they're not so Kanye West sensitive. I think it'll be a
Well, hey
great
man,
thing.
what's up with you and Kanye West today, man? That's like the third, fourth time you didn't
Man,
mention Kanye.
anytime I think of somebody who's sensitive, it's the first person I think of. There's another one, but I love him so much, I wouldn't say it. KD,
Oh, man.
I think KD
Yeah.
is uber
Yeah.
sensitive, uber sensitive.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Kanye, look, hey, Kanye go put us in a song. He go talk about time the ball wasn't no balling at all or something like that. I kind of like that line.
oh, you got bars. I saw you. K got some bars. Okay.
Okay, well, look, the
Street
reason
Cred
why,
Sports Records.
hey, you know, if it's gonna be Street Cred Sports Records, I'm following the Death Row method. You don't want nobody up in your videos. Come to Death Row. Hey, well, let me get back to it. All right, so the reason I post that to y'all is I deal with a lot of situations, and I know I shouldn't expect you coaches, younger people, youth city league coaches and players to follow this format, but it does boggle my mind how I'll have parents say, well, we played in this tournament and every team pressed us, right? And we couldn't handle it, so we got blown out. So then I'll ask them, okay, so when you came back, what was your practices like? Well, it was the same thing, layups, scrimmages and stuff. And I would say, so they didn't address it? And they say no. So then I have to address it, which is part of what I do. And now those kids are more successful in dealing with it, because the one thing, to your point, Lee, the one thing that I have tried to teach players is, and this is no fault of coaching, because you guys are coaching, the plays, you're running the plays and stuff, and the players have to get it down here so they know I got to be on top, I got to be here, I got to be moving and stuff. But one thing that I have noticed is some players are so fixated that I got to get the ball and pass, and I got to run and cut, that they don't always stop the play and slow it down to see that as I'm catching the ball, as I'm looking to pass here, this player that's defending me is on point with getting ready to slide over into defensive help. So if I catch the ball and I fake the pass, I can now rip through and attack the basket, right? So some coaches don't, I'm not saying some, it could be a very, especially on the youth level, some players aren't getting the I call it the it's pre-looks, where they're pre knowing what the play is going to be. So when they catch the ball, they can pretty much know a couple of options to how to attack, right? And that's one thing that I think we need to get better at on the youth level. Although sometimes in high school, it kind of happens, but I know it's not happening in college, where, and I know it shouldn't be happening on high level AAU, where you're not having these situations, where at least you aren't preparing those players. If they don't do it, that's a them problem. But at least you guys are trying to prepare it, right? Okay, so we're gonna stay in this. We're gonna stay in this because I want to ask you guys about what's the complete scouting report for you guys when you're scouting the team. What are some things that you're scouting? when you're scouting an opponent, because obviously some opponents you might not have a good feel for. So like if it's a tournament, it's a team that y'all haven't played, you get a look at them. What are some key points that you guys want to try to relate to your team and try to put forth? Oh yeah.
Can I, before getting that question, can I just go back to something you were talking about when you're talking about preparing your players and going and play? Yeah. It goes back to something that Coach Williams said at the beginning. It's details. And a good coach it's hard to prepare your kids for every situation, but you should do everything in your power to do that.
Yes.
How do you not know how to break a press? That, and then you get press, you don't handle it, and then the next time you go to practice and you don't work on it.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like that's not a coach I want my kid to play for. And going back, hey, we're gonna learn this play, and at every point of this play, hey, here are your options. Hey, if you catch it, the next option is to make this pass, but let's catch. What did coach say? Catch and look. If I catch and look, my guy, and I can break down and get. If I can score without having to run a play, great. The whole point of running a play is to get the best shot possible. If during that play, you being able to beat your man and get a layup, that's the best shot possible. So coaches not preparing their players not to be able to read those situations, you're doing your kids a disservice.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So scouting. Yeah. You know what? Instead of like a whole detail, give me 3 to 5 things that you're gonna scout a team on.
Go ahead, Coach. Go, Stu. You got it. You want me to go?
He looked like he's thinking, Lee. You might want to go.
Okay,
go ahead.
Like,
I got two different answers for you. So go ahead.
For me, the short version of it will be personnel. I'm big on that because most people just I shouldn't say most. Let me stop saying that. I know some that on the high school level just focus on their offense. I like to disrupt. So for me, tendencies of players. Oh, can't go left. Oh, shot fakes first, drives right, pull up. Non-shooter comes off pick and roll. We're gonna go underneath. Those types of things. So personnel and some of their tendencies. Identify who's their best player, who's their top two players, who's doing the majority of their scoring. And then I get to, okay, what are they running, so to speak? Situational plays after timeouts. They love running this. When they're struggling, they call timeout. They've ran this 5 or 6 times. That's the short version. I know you said 5, but that's kind of what I think of. Am I the best at it? No, but for me, it's those things that I just named. I think if players know those things, for the most part, you're going to be successful.
Right. All right. Oh, it looked like he over there grabbing some old files.
Yeah, I see him. He ready. He ready, man.
Hey, if I had my flash drive, I would. There's 2 ways to go about it. If you've got, it's a quick turnaround. So you're looking at a tournament situation. Hey, you play Tuesday and you got to play somebody on Wednesday. Hey, we're going to look at tendencies. Hey, they like to run. So and so is their best player. He's a shooter. Make sure we don't leave him. If we have enough that we can get tendencies. Hey, make 15 go left. He can't go left. She can't go left. Just something really basic. Hey, what do they like to do offensively? What do they like to do defensively? What's the best way for us to attack them? And then if we have, if you've got time and it's somebody that you play, it's a conference game. Hey, we have everybody's tendency that we have down. Hey, 15, he's a non-shooter. Okay, sag off. 21, volume shooter. Hey, make sure you stay close. Make him put the ball on the floor. Whatever, I remember we had a scouting report. We played a kid who was really good, but once you touched him, he didn't like to be touched. So hey, be really physical, be handsy.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
once you have players and your opponents, any tendency that you have that you can put on there to put in your mind, as long as it doesn't take away from your game plan. Because now say, hey, make sure you hut him, and now you don't want to go overboard. Now you're fouling the kid every time, but hey, just a real hey, make sure you put a hand on him. Hey, as you're running down the court, just make contact. Just ride him out a little bit. You want to try and use all those tendencies that you have to your advantage. And so, depending on the scout, it could be really detailed. Hey, if this team's really good, hey, we've really got to focus. Hey, and we would assign players to, hey, look, I'll send you a copy of one of our old scouting reports.
No, and that's what I was gonna say. I was kind of chuckling to myself because I have one of your scout reports that you gave me from back in the day. And it's like 3 chapters. Like 400 pages per chapter. So it's really extensive. It's even more extensive than I actually had I don't even know how I got my hands on it, but I had a scouting report from the Charlotte Hornets back when they were the Hornets before they went to them. But I got a scouting report and I used to use it in my guard principles experience camp to show players how extensive scouting is and what you need to know. And then when Stu sent me his, then I would use his as well. So I know they can be really, really extensive with the different things that you're trying to get your players to understand. And when you look at it, like that's one of the things I tell players, like you have to understand once you get to the collegiate level, it's a job because you're no longer, you're paying, your coaches are probably telling you certain things, but now you're going to be tasked with knowing these things because you're going to be playing 2 to 3 times a week. And it's a film study to know all of the stuff that you need to know. So that was great. You can send me another one if you want to, Stu. You can send me another one. I'll
Same
always
Coach.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? And I'll share those with you, Lee. I'll send you those. I mean, I don't know how many terabytes you have of storage for the one Stu gave it to me, but it's like I had to use like 4 USBs.
But that was the conference scout report. That was hey, we need to win this game. So we have we've got 2 games of film, and then we talked to somebody else who gave us their film, and So
I got one question, Coach. How do you deal with the different temperaments? Do you coach them different? Do you talk to them differently? You got your typical kid that's wears his emotions on his sleeve. You got the ones that don't talk as much. Like, what's your advice on that, Coach?
I try and talk to kids. I try and reach kids the best way to reach a kid. If it's a kid who's quiet, who doesn't like to, hey, you can talk. There are kids you can get in their ass, and they'll be okay with it. And then there are kids who need to pull them aside. Hey, maybe put your arm around their shoulders. Hey, I need you to do this, and maybe be more one-on-one with them. I think once you get a good feel for your players, you'll have an idea of how to talk to them. But you're holding them all accountable to the same goal, but you're just talking to them differently. And so you're going the same direction. That the same expectations are in place for them. The same rules apply to them. But how you talk to them and get them to follow those rules and those expectations, it depends on the player. And just like you talk about refs being sensitive, which players you talk to can be sensitive, and which players, which players aren't as sensitive. And it's just finding that right tone, and getting them to understand that, hey, I might get in your ass in a situation, But no, it's not, it's not personal. And we tell our kids this all the time. Hey, a lot of the time the blustering and yelling and screaming is a method, but listen to the information and take the information and throw all the other stuff out and just take the information in. However you receive it, get the information that you need to get, and all the other stuff, that's just, that's just emotions or whatever. You got to be able to handle it. And some kids, once they get to know you, they'll understand that and they'll be better for it. But it's just, you can't talk to every kid the same way.
No doubt, for sure.
And I think that's. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going, Stu.
No, that was it.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, and I think that might be probably one of the biggest disconnects and reasons why there are issues in the youth sports and in some high school where those coaches, you're not just developing players, you're developing minds as well. And some coaches know only one way to get a point across, and that's they're yelling all the time at everybody. And some players can deal with that, and some players, you need to have a little bit of a different approach. All right, so let's get to our final thing. Hopefully we can get through this whole topic because I don't know where it's gonna go. If you remember last week, this is the reason why we on Google Meet, because last week Lee and I got into such a heated conversation. He didn't want to respond to no text messages. He didn't let me know anything. He was like, man, I ain't coming back over in that damn place. And I was like, you know what? I know you ain't coming back over this place, Cletus. I don't even want you to come back over on this place. So now we have to be separated. We in our timeout mode.
That's crazy.
We're going to get into I'm happy to have Coach Stu on this. This is the You Done Lost Your Damn Mind question. All right, so here's the question. And look, this is the thing. We can yell and curse and be throwing fists and stuff, but no punches gonna land because we all in our separate entities. Here's the question.
Okay. Huh? I was gonna say, is this the butter in our toast before you toast it?
No. That was like 2-3 weeks ago. I just wanted to know your opinion because the missus asked me to make toast my way, and I'm gonna make sure I put this and blast it on all my social media so everybody knows that she rolling with me now. But here's the question. I heard them discussing, it's talking about the rookie of the year. And they were saying that Knueppel is probably going to solidify and win it because he brings more to the table. And, Cooper was leading, but Cooper had the period where he was hurt. So then they start talking about, the Hornets are more relevant and everything. So they kind of weigh that. But then I got to thinking, somebody made a comment and it got me to thinking, who do you guys think's going to have a better ceiling or better, because there's so many ways I can go. I'll stick to the way I had. Who do you think's going to have a better ceiling in the NBA? Cooper Flag or Knueppel?
The higher ceiling for me is Cooper Flag.
Okay.
Knueppel has great fundamentals. He knows how to play at a high level without being uber athletic, which is a skill. But when I think of high ceiling, I think of multifaceted player, play multiple positions. I see Cooper Flag could play a 1, 2, or 3, maybe even sometimes a 4. That's just my thoughts. Khan's hot right now. His team is hot right now, which is the real issue there. And Cooper Flag, if he doesn't win it, it's because Dallas is tanking. That's all that is. And so, for me, I don't think anybody in the league would just say, if I got to pick between these two players, I'm taking Khan before I take Cooper. That just doesn't make sense to me from my perspective.
Okay, what you say, Stu?
Uh, I'd like to disagree, but I can't. And-
Damn.
but I say this going back to last year when they were both playing together. I
Right.
thought Knueppel was the better player. He defends. He handles. I mean, not and Cooper. He's going to be an all-star for a long time. He he can play. He can guard all three positions. His scoring ability is elite. His ceiling is much higher than Colin Knueppel.
Yeah.
But I think last year and probably for these next 3 years, Colin Knueppel will be the better overall player. But Cooper Flag has a higher ceiling.
Now you say that probably because Charlotte has more in place to where Knueppel can be himself, right?
Mhm.
And not try to be something that he's not.
I say that going back to last year when who was their best defender last year?
Yeah,
Not their best defender, but if they had a choice of who they're putting on their best on an opposing best offensive player, it wasn't Cooper Flag, it was Colin Knueppel.
Yeah.
And so now will that change because Cooper Flag is? I mean, he's talented, he's gifted, and he's 6'8" and long. That'll change, but I regardless of who's got in place, I think Cooper's going to have a higher ceiling. Sorry.
Yeah. No. We're not arguing. I probably should have asked another question. I'm gonna try to phrase the difference so I can have some furniture moving in the background. So let me.
If I could just add something real quick. I guess last year, right? It's crazy to believe that those two guys were on the same team last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when there's not a lot of eyes on you, it's easy to perform. It's easy to perform. I mean, I didn't know who Knueppel was last year. I didn't until they got, well, I'm saying when he got there, I didn't know who he was. But obviously when his play showed, I think Duke should have really brought him into a focus more, in my opinion. Got him more looks, got him more shots. I think it would have relieved Cooper Flag a little bit as far as pressure-wise. And those guys would have been talked about in the same breath, if that makes sense. I thought the staff made a major mistake. I thought the staff overlooked Knueppel's talent and early on, so and then to do what for his skill set, I think when NBA scouts started saying, "Hey, this guy can translate," I think that's when it came to fruition. Like, let's get him more shots. But it was too late already. The season was already 3/4 of the way over.
Yeah. He's go ahead, Coach.
They're using him as mostly a catch and shoot, spot up shooter. Come off down screen. Yeah.
He's way more than that.
Now, he is, but he's not a guy that. Okay, it's I need a bucket. We're gonna clear the floor. You're gonna get a bucket for us by yourself. With a handle separation move. He's not doing that.
But I agree with that. But now what they're doing is putting people in pick and roll. There's not a whole lot of flat one-on-one. There, a lot of the ISO now is that pick and roll piece. Whether they run Spain out of it or what have you, I think he handles pick and roll fine. I think he can handle it fine. And make plays out of it. But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And I think that's the to me, Knueppel is a better all-around player as far as being able to do multiple things very well.
Yeah.
Cooper, I think, excels at doing some of those other things really good, but at the end of the game, you could because I even had a conversation with a guy on my Facebook. I made a post and he was saying it was about Luka, and I was telling them, look, Cooper was good, and it's like, oh well, don't say that they would have been a good team. I said, man, if nobody was hurt, they were a championship level team after that trade with bringing Anthony Davis and stuff in. I said, and Cooper's not getting enough credit because they're shading all of their defenders towards him. So he can't space the floor because they're not respecting those other guys. Yeah. But with Knueppel, there's a lot more respect for Bridges and the other guy, and then LaMelo, to where he's going to have a little bit more room coming off the screen. But that's to your point, but what I would, I guess, say about that is, you come across that screen, you come over that screen, you have mismatch with a big, it's a little bit easier to get separation. But when they're going wing to wing switches and you have an elite defender on you, I want the ball in Cooper's hands before I want it in Knueppel's hands, if that makes sense, to get me a shot.
I did not know. I'm sorry, go ahead, Coach.
I say more times than not, I agree with you, but I mean, I don't think
Cooper's not that much ahead of Knueppel. No.
Yeah, maybe not with handles. Yeah. Maybe not with handles. But he's missed some shots, but he's gotten his, like I always tell kids, if you can get to your spot and get the shot you want, that is to me, when I'm developing, is great, because then I know that you can get that shot. Now let's work heavily on speed and pace to get that shot. And I haven't seen Knueppel do that, but I've seen Cooper do it.
I did not know those two guys were going to be this good in the league.
Look,
I had no idea.
I did.
You didn't know Cooper was going to be this good, because I found out why he's been that good. Kyrie spent one-on-one hours with him, understanding the nuances of the game and how to handle himself. Duke, in my opinion, poor usage of Knueppel, in my opinion.
I would say that.
Which didn't allow me to see his full game. Yeah, and so
there were times when they were both at Duke where there were times where Knueppel was the best guy on the floor in the games, and it was like, hey man, like Con needs to be getting more touches to do a little bit more. But Con, kind of, he started like with Charlotte. He reminds me of a Klay Thompson. That's who he reminds me of.
I think he might
his defense.
He has a whole lot better.
Yeah, he has a better handle than Klay, but at his core, coming off the screens, lights out shooter, can defend. I'm not saying he plays just like him, but that's kind of the comparison, that I get in out the top of my head. There's probably some other players that I could say he's better. And to your point with Kyrie, yes, you see Cooper doing a little bit differently things with the ball than he did at the beginning of the season. And that's to Kyrie's credit, where he's teaching him and molding him. So I think, he had 51. Okay, who was that? Who was it against? Was it against the Wizards the other night or the Jazz? Can't remember who he had 51 against.
51 against the Wizards is, I could get 51 against the Wizards right now.
Oh, hold on. Hey, let me get you a 2-day contract so we can make that happen.
Okay, maybe not me, but
I might be able to get 15.
Bam Adebayo had 81 against the Wizards.
Huh?
Are they ever gonna be good? When? What are we doing? What are we doing?
I really wish they would have let Anthony and Trey play this year, but they're low enough for next year. Like, they have some pieces in place in Washington.
They do.
If they get all they need is maybe one good pick to make them a solid team.
So Trey's not playing. I haven't watched. I'm just asking. Trey's not.
Nah. He was going to play. He was supposed to play, and then I think it was an injury or something, but they held him out.
Smart move.
So he didn't play. And then Then they said Anthony Davis was cleared. It's like, well, he's cleared for one-on-one and to start, scrimmages. It's like, man, there's only 8 games left in the season. Why are you trying to bring him back? Just leave him.
Leave it.
So, yeah, leave them. Make the pick. Make sure they're healthy. The thing with both of them now, not so much Trey. Trey's been, a more dependable and durable player, but he has been getting beat up. The Anthony is just I love what he brings. It's just I can't trust that you're gonna get a full season from him.
Yeah. Well, are they a draft pick and a free agent away? Would you say, or more than that?
I would say more than that, because you don't know how long you're gonna get from. You know what you're gonna get from Anthony Davis. You just don't know how long. So you have to have some other pieces around the world. If what Charles calls them street clothes,
Davis.
If Anthony Davis isn't playing, you have enough pieces around to still be, competitive.
I got you.
So we'll see. I know I can't wait for the playoffs, man.
Me too, man.
We need to just go ahead. We need to just go ahead and go to that Western Conference Final and throw San Antonio and the Thunder in and just let them play.
Sorry, sorry. I'm pulling up the Wizards roster right now. They might be 5 free agents and 6 draft point picks.
Well, they got Zubac. They got Zubac, right? Isn't Zubac there?
Nope.
No.
Wait a minute.
Nope. They got Vucevic.
No. Vucevic is with Boston.
Okay. Hold on.
Here, let me pull them up, because I can pull their roster up, because
unless ESPN hasn't updated their rosters.
Okay, so they play today. Let me go back a few days ago to see when they last played, because I always Vucevic went. Okay, he went to the Pacers. But Washington does. Let's see. Yeah, no, they don't have much on there.
No,
they don't have much on there.
No,
they don't have. Yeah, no, they don't have. I'm sorry, I was thinking Vucevic was not Vucevic that's with Boston. I was thinking Zubac was there. But okay. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. They're gonna be killing me, man. He got pocket. He don't even know the stat, man. I don't be following them like that. But they've said all along they quote unquote have some quote unquote pieces right now. Trey could be a guy that could get other people to come down there. Who knows? But I look forward to seeing what they're gonna have a really good offseason. They're really gonna have to have a good offseason.
Yeah, because with Sarr and Davis and Young, that's a good start. But
Sarr, Sarr plays the 5, which allows Davis to play the 4, which makes that's 3 pieces right there. That to me it was definitely what Sarr. I was thinking
can D'Angelo Russell still play?
Yeah, but I don't think he wants.
Don't say that, Kay. Don't say that.
What? That
D'Angelo Russell. K. Please don't say that, man. D'Angelo Russell. He needs to just go get some more tattoos and stay on the podcast, man. He's disgusting. His demeanor, his play, the way I don't think he cares about the game enough anymore. I just don't. I don't think he's ever cared about the game. I just think he's been
I think
talented.
He did. I think he did at one point, but I think he got turned off from the constant trade and being to where it was like, he was the guy. And then next thing, I think earlier in his career, he defended. He wasn't a defender. He wasn't just like, yo, go ahead and go. He's gotten worse. Early in his career, he was okay defensively, but I
he's a
think it
guy
takes
that
a toll.
he's a guy that has the ball wants the ball in his hands, but he's not that guy anymore, man. You got to reinvent yourself. Everybody does,
Yeah.
you know. And the story goes is that the front office asked Kyrie who they wanted. He said get Russell, but he meant the other Russell, not D'Angelo. He meant Westbrook, and they
They-
got D'Angelo Russell. So I just don't like his body language, his demeanor. He's always pouting.
Mhm.
You
Now,
know,
and look, I'm agreeing with you 100%. I will say, and this goes back to temperament of players. I think that early on in his career, he was very successful.
Mhm.
And then you get traded, and then you're always in trades, and then people start to talk about what you're saying, and he keeps getting moved around. I think it just kind of wears on him. Like not everybody's gonna have that temperament of, well, okay, I'm gonna go here since you traded me here, and I'm gonna make them a really good team to show you guys what a bad job you did. I don't think people are like that anymore.
Go ahead,
Is
Coach.
anybody who's like that anymore? It's it's hard for me to watch NBA now because there isn't a whole lot of people that say, you know what, you traded me, watch this. I'm gonna make sure every time we play, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure you guys know you made a mistake.
Facts.
Yeah, they say it, but they'll say it and put it out there on the social media verse, but
Yeah.
their actions don't match what they
No.
say. So,
Well, I know Golden State wish they wouldn't have gotten rid of Buddy that's over in Atlanta. That was
yeah,
a terrible mistake.
yeah.
Um,
Well, we could talk about that Golden State debacle on a whole separate podcast, but we don't have time. We taking too much of Stu's time right now. I'm getting a text message from his agent asking us how much more time we got. And damn, boy, you kind of expensive per 10 minutes, so we gonna have your ass on here for another 9 minutes.
Hey, it's Easter Sunday. I got nowhere to be. So
Well, hey, well, I appreciate you coming on and like I know you got a lot of stuff to do. So when you said you was gonna come on, I was like, well, yeah, let me go ahead and make this happen and have him in there because we be talking on the regular, just like I do with Lee, and we be talking my stuff, and it's like, some conversations we can have. I would love for the public to hear. Otherwise, not with you, Stu, with Lee. When me and Lee be talking about stuff, I be like, man, I sure hope they ain't recording this phone call. Boy, you gonna get both of us put in jail.
This dude, man.
So look, I appreciate you coming on, and it's an open invitation anytime you want to come on. And I kind of switched some things because I wanted to get a little bit more coaching and philosophy and talking about X's and O's. And I really think it's important. It might sound boring, but it is very important because nobody can say that we weren't providing that. And this is the platform that I wanted to be able to do that. So I thank both of you for sharing everything you have with this. So man, you got an open invitation anytime. All you got to do is hit me up and I will make it happen.
hey, absolutely. This is we've gone back and forth a few times. This is part of the coaching game that I miss is talking basketball, X and O's and philosophies. And if I can get this more often, it might it'll keep me out of coaching longer.
Hey, because sometimes I'll call him Lee and I'll be like, okay, wait a minute, hold on. I got like 15 minutes. Okay, I'm not gonna ask them this, and we definitely not gonna talk to that because those are like 45 to an hour and a half minute conversations. So I'm gonna keep it brief, and I end up just saying, "Hey, man, how you doing?"
No, I'll be on. I'll be on again. It won't be 4 years this time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm gonna pull out the archives and dust it off and let Lee because we went all into it was. I think part one was 2-3. defensive philosophy and offensive philosophy and
Still don't like
3-2 and everything. Huh?
still don't like playing zone.
And
Yeah.
yeah. No, we were hitting it up. It was really good. So I have to pull that out our archives and post that. But let me let you guys go. Actually have a training that I knew they were gonna message me at last minute and say, hey, do we have training? So yeah, I gotta get up on that. I'm always happy to make that trip and help these players out. So I appreciate both of our, well, not guests, because Lee get paid. So, you know, part of that 9 minute, if we go over 10 minutes, Lee gonna be having, since Lee the bigger name, he's gonna be 60-40 Lee.
This guy here, boy.
Hey, we'll keep you on and get. We'll keep you on and get. So you can start collecting overtime here.
Yeah, no, ain't no overtime, and not in his contract. No, he's salary. He's salary position.
This guy here, boy.
Hey, like what's his name on The Wire? Golly, Omar. I'm a worker. I'm a worker.
See how you doing, man?
All right, so look, we're gonna end it. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, comment. Let us know what you feel and think with a lot of subjects we have. We're gonna get this out. We're gonna chop it up and put them out in certain segments. So it's you don't have to listen to me being long-winded, saying like, man, I would listen to your podcast, but you talk too damn much. So I chop it up so you don't have to listen to me talk as much. Let us know what you're thinking. If you have a question, put the question in and we'll, you know, read it. And if it's a bad question like that dude who, hey, one dude commented and said, I look like Uncle Phil from
Fresh Prince.
And I started laughing like, damn, I do kind of look like Uncle Phil, huh? And I laughed and stuff. I was like, yo, I'll bust your ass, man. So just let us know, interact with us. I'm not thin skinned, but I will show up to your house and regulate. So we appreciate you joining us, and we're gonna end it like we always do. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. We out.
Right. Peace. Appreciate you, Coach.
Thanks, Keenan. Hey, Coach, let me know when you come.
Street cred sports, say it with your chest. Yeah. Go get it from the net. Street cred sports, okay, that's a bet.